Nortander, the cradle of human civilization. We know war. It has been at our side for millennia, coming and going with the indifference of the tides. Our most recent sprouted from rebellion. For reasons unknown, a mage by the name of Isamo Tahar gathered the noble houses behind him in an attempt to overthrow the crown. His magic brought mayhem. Arcane fires burnt towns to ashes. Abominations ravaged the battlefields. Men and women were torn apart with the snap of a finger. Only a sacrifice by our queen achieved what none had thought possible: an end to the slaughter. The Mage War was over. The crown had won, and a ban on magic was enacted. Now the people once more believe that their suffering has come to an end. They hope. They dream. But the tides don't change.
The barracks. Memories float through their halls like fireflies in a misty swamp. While some of them are pleasant, most of them are not. Save for your friend Bertrand, your comrades shunned you, and your promotion into the ranks of the Wolf Guard did not make things any better. Can you blame them? After all, you are the child of Isamo Tahar, the man they have spent the past 8 years fighting.
Hey, Tahar, wake up! What in blazes is wrong with you?
Where am I?
Are you serious? What does it look like?
Tiara's gardens.
Yeah, save for the grapes and the virgins. That is, unless you've hidden any under that bed of yours. You were screaming as if Nor himself was at your throat. Not the best way to make an impression on the new recruits, don't you think? It was that dream again, wasn't it? The nightmare.
Yes.
Look, I know I've said this before, but you did the right thing back then. Your father, he was a madman. Defying him was the only sane thing to do.
Not everyone in the Royal Army seems to agree on that.
Well, then they are fools. All they want is a scapegoat, and you, as Isamo Tahar's child, are the best one they got their hands on. Honestly, you shouldn't need me to remind you about that.
It wasn't the dream about the cave. It was the one I've been having since I was a child.
That one. Well, what can I say? You're one tormented soul, my friend. But probably that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, probably.
But still, sometimes I can't help but feel that you still feel guilty about betraying Isamo. Just don't, all right? You did the right thing.
I know, Bertrand. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for, isn't it? For what it's worth, at least. The new laws will prevent something like that from ever happening again. Magic is dangerous, and your father and his rebellion were all the proof for that. We can't just allow mages to run around using their powers as they please. There just need to be limits, rules. And the new laws are just that. A rule set plain and simple. Those mages the Purity branded, they chose their own fate. They were criminals and murderers.
Hi. Sorry for interrupting. I just realized I have a setup with a big TV, 48 inches, an OLED from LG. and a dedicated surround sound setup with a Denon amplifier or receiver. And I just realized again that experiencing a game with this kind of immersive feeling is glorious. If you can, if you have the resources, if you have the space, get a big ass good monitor / television. The 2020 and 2021 models even have extremely low input lag. It feels like you're playing on a monitor. It even feels better. OLED is just superior. And the sound is just, oh dear. Every game feels awesome. I remember years ago when Prometheus came out. I ventured there with a friend, and there was this cinema. By accident, we stumbled upon the movie that came out, Prometheus, and they just upgraded their theater to super, 50 surround sound speakers, 20 subwoofers, I don't know, with the most dedicated modern 4K screen, giant cinema, room dedicated just for that. And the movie, the first minutes felt glorious. I still remember the moment when the spaceship activated its thrusters. In terms of immersive feeling, surround sound and a giant ass super cool TV / monitor is just, if you can, go for it. There's nothing better. But always remember, sound is more important than the screen. There are people who buy an OLED television to game on it for $2,000, $3,000, and then they listen to the games with the onboard television speakers. Imagine you buy a Ferrari with a 20 horsepower engine. What did just happen? Hello? Something happened. Odd. Sorry, my television just did something stupid. Never happened before. Right when I'm full of praise for the experience, and the television does something stupid. It told me something like Prime Video updated. It's a smart TV. And it tapped me out of the game. That never happened before. Odd. Yeah, it's just the experience. And I know that the YouTube compression, I'm trying to give you the best possible graphics experience. I'm always recording in Ultra. That means there are a lot of gigabits per, episode, and uploading to YouTube takes some time. And the YouTube compression still butchers the quality, especially since I'm playing with VRR. So, even if I'm playing with, 40, 50 FPS, a modern RPG, Assassin's Creed or something, it feels like 100 FPS. This does not work with YouTube. So, if I record a game with 50 FPS, and I record it to YouTube, it feels like 50 FPS. But if I play it with VRR, it feels like 100 FPS. So it's extremely fluid, even though it's just 50 FPS. And that's it. And sorry, I'm going to stop speaking, and let us dive into the story again. Okay, where were we? New laws? Ah, yes, purity. The guys who don't like magicians. Mm-hmm.
Were they?
You're talking about that woman. Yes, they made a mistake, but come on. All the evidence suggested that she killed that merchant. It's tragic, and it must never happen again. But I can't really blame the judges. And also, the law was never perfect to begin with, but it's better than having no law at all.
I'm a mage, too. What if one day they decide that I'm also a defiler?
Come on, don't be ridiculous. You're a battle mage of the Royal Army, of the Wolf Guard, for heck's sake. You use your powers for the greater good, unlike the ones who are being sentenced.
Corporal Tahar, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb.
What is it?
Lord Marshal Angar and General Noria have requested your presence. You and Corporal Carpel are to report to them in the Hall of War as soon as possible.
What's it about?
I'm not in a position to tell.
All right, then. Shall we go together, Tahar? I've been meaning to stretch my legs anyway.
Sure. Thank you, boy. You can leave.
Of course. Corporal Tahar? Corporal Carpel?
You should put some clothes on first.
Oh, really? Thanks for reminding me.
Alright, so we have an inferior dagger, inferior axe, inferior bow, inferior crossbow, inferior armor. Oh no, heavy wolf guard. Okay, so we don't have an inferior armor. Let's see, but we have an inferior wand. Okay, everything inferior except the armor. And feels like military. Heavy wolf guard armor. Your bleed out time is 10 times as long. What? That's very useful. The craftsmanship of the Wolf Guard armors is largely unrivaled by the equipment of other armies on Fiara. The heavy Wolf Guard armor is a prime example of just how excellent the Wolf Guard armors are. Thanks to its tight design, the armor quickly stops the soldier from bleeding. Except if the armor gets pierced, then there will be no...
Ready?
Ooh.
Then let's go.
Oh, hello there. Let's equip a wand. Just because we can. We don't need it, but we can.
Pray tell.
Is that... Well, they're sleeping over the dungeons. That's wise. So if someone should break out, the guards could just scream, "Break out!" And then, I don't know, 50 recruits would just jump down and murder everyone. Clever system. Ah, there they are again. 300 hit points, 15 attack.
Will do.
I mean, not with a halberdier, but ours had a sword, right? But that matters not. Damn.
Let's get to work.
The attention to detail that this game has. I mean, just look at the depiction of warriors on the wall and the small details, the small lines of metal, probably copper, trying to depict gold. I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, seriously, Spellforce is beautiful. I'm not a big fan of the AI and this constant spamming of units later on, but in terms of detail, love for details, and world building, well done. Well done. I know that I played this game after I played Divinity 2, the newer one, and even though Divinity is an extraordinary and even better game, this holds up pretty well.
It's quite empty. Where are all the recruits?
Out for the drills or in the halls of justice, I guess. There's a trial taking place right now.
Another mage?
Yeah, some elven woman, I believe.
Revitalization, purity of light in essay. Books. Huh? Let's see.
Will do.
The purity of light, an essay. A magic belongs to the gods alone. To practice magic is to defile the sacred gift and demands the punishment of death. Oh dear. Such is the harsh teaching of the purity of light. Though the order is widespread, today it is easy to forget that it is a relatively young religion with far gentler beginnings. As with most religious orders, the purity of light had humble origins. Ronda Lacane, famously known now as the Harbinger of Light, was a simple preacher in the twilight of the Mage Wars. His message was of love and unity, a powerful and popular call after the horrors of the war. Lacane organized food banks for the poor and refugees of the war, and in these groups his religion found an early following. The faith's new followers, Scions, spread his message wide and far. Oh, indeed far. Lacane quickly became their champion, their shepherd, in a time of great suffering. Despite its popularity amongst the poor, the purity of light please be quiet. Remained a relatively small and insignificant order until the very end of the war. It is not clear what exactly changed for Lacane, but the end of the Mage Wars was a turning point for the purity. Where once the purity professed love and peace, it now turned its focus on the complete subjugation of magic wielders who were branded as defilers. To understand the purity's extreme stance on magic, consider the tenets of the faith. Aenir, the All-Father, abandoned the world tainted by sin and defilers. Violence, war, suffering, these are all punishments for humanity's crimes. With the Mage Wars... sorry. I thought we could move whilst reading. Mage Wars, many had witnessed firsthand the suffering magic brought. Only when all of the world has turned to the purity of light and purged itself of defilers will Aenir return. Oh dear. Purge all the I guess the purity of light will be the last the arch enemy in this game, I guess. I mean, it should be quite obvious that they are not the good guys. Purifying all defilers. What if normal people... I mean, that's the problem with extremism. If you're ready to kill people, what happens if your stance on who's evil changes? Tomorrow, only evil mages will be your enemies. The day after that, maybe good mages will be. And maybe in 5 days, even normal people who just say no to you will be enemies. Defilers. So once you cross that threshold of murder, of violence, it becomes very, 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 very dangerous. At the center of it all is Rondar Lacane as the Harbinger of Light. He is the All-Father's chosen conduit. Who says that? He himself, or the one who will open the gate once the world is made pure? Okay, so oh yes, made pure. I've heard that before. They want to kill everyone. Lacane's rise from a simple preacher to the head of the most influential religion in the land is no accident. Whatever the Order's fate, it is undeniable that Lacane's and the Purity of Light's destinies are closely entwined. Oh dear. That story will not turn out well, I guess. I'm not sure, but I highly doubt it. Let's continue, and let's see what else this place offers.
Nothing important there, Tahar. Just some provisions.
Okay. Ah, the kitchen.
Acknowledged.
A gate key. Ooh. Wait a second. Can we... Why is this...
Damn it. This is more complicated than I thought.
Ability points. I see. Okay. Okay, I would like healing. That's powerful.
Got it.
I like it. This is relatively realistic. I mean, in reality, they would have probably crammed 3 lines of tables in there. For sure, maybe even 4. And more chairs. But it's functional, it's effective. I mean, it makes sense.
Of course.
Of course, the officer's table. The smallest one. Most secluded one. Nullifying flask again. Oh, Molotov. That's basically a Molotov cocktail.
Yes.
Nice. You see, it's worth it. The game rewards you for discovering stuff. I mean, we discovered a Molotov cocktail. I mean, 3 at the time. I mean, what more do you want? We're just dudes with magical wands and bows, and now we have Molotov cocktails. So even if we meet a demon, we could show him our Molotov cocktail and tell him to fuck off. I mean, he wouldn't care, but we could still try. Oh, hello there.
Huh. Interesting.
No city of Northander evokes as much awe as Greyfell and its guardian keep, the seat of the crown. Built into the Hibernian ruins that once crowned King's Mountain, its walls and towers were made to withstand every foe and army, from the great Orcish horde to a swarm of dragons. It was here that the Mage Wars came to an end, after an unknown rebel warned the crown of your father's planned attack. You remember the battle that followed all too well. Though many soldiers were honored for their bravery, no amount of medals will make you forget the widow's cries at the funeral pyres.
Some argue that those who die in a war have it easy, but those who remain have it harder. In the Second World War, there was a project, an idea of British military. They wanted to make serving the war and fighting the evil Nazis more accessible. So they told people, if you sign up together, you will stay together. So entire villages signed up together, the males of villages, and they were all assigned to a single unit. Usually that's not what's happening in military. You get assigned to some random unit. And then when the entire squadron, battalion, whatever, was wiped out, were killed, that village had no more males. They all died. No one returned. So an idea that started as a beautiful idea turned into absolute horror. Because usually only a portion of military get killed. So if 10 males from a village sign up and get assigned to 6 squadrons and 4 are killed, at least there are those males who were in the 2 squadrons that survive. But if all of them are in the same one and they die, that's just... Verstämmert. Okay.
Ah, finally, some fresh air. Come on, Tahar. Let's head to the North Tower. Acknowledged. Quite the view, isn't it? Just doesn't get old. Still hard to believe that some 1,000 years ago, somebody actually built this place.
Will do.
May the light have mercy on you.
There she goes. No more magic for you.
I still can't believe the Lord Marshal is allowing them to do this in Greykeep. Weren't they an underground movement just some moons ago?
They were. Things changed quickly, it seems.
Who was she?
No idea. She might have been with the rebels the army recently took out near Windwall. They still haven't given up. By all that can be said about your father, he certainly had his followers. They're like weeds. Whenever you think you've gotten them all, you find a new patch eating away the seeds somewhere.
I didn't know the Iron Mask kills right away.
Well, from what I've heard, there are 2 ways it can go. Either it makes you lose your magic, and then slowly your sanity, or it causes a brain rupture once it's branded onto your face. Seems that this woman suffered the latter.
Now, let's move on.
Sure. I'm ready.
Yes? Who are you?
Just 2 soldiers. We saw the branding. Impressive work.
What do you want?
Could you tell me more about the purity of light? About your faith?
Oh, you're a seeker.
Maybe.
Interesting. Well, I will do my best to answer your questions.
This woman, what does she do?
That one? She was one of Isamo Tahar's rebels. They hid in wind walls, but the royal army took out their camp. She summoned a beast that tore apart 13 soldiers before they finally pinned her down. It's good that the mask put an end to her right away.
Do you have some kind of leader? Your movement originated in Greyfell, correct?
Movement. I don't think you quite understand who we are, soldier. But I have faith that you will soon enough. Regarding your first question, yes, we do. Harbinger of Light, or Rondar Lacane, as his worldly name is known. He is out of the city at the moment, but if you want a chance to hear his sermons yourself, he will return to Greykeep 1 or 2 days from now.
What exactly do you believe in? I've been told the purity of light renounces the Guardians. Is that true?
Renounce? No. The Guardians, as well as the renegade gods, are Aeonir's creation, and they are as truthful as he is. They left us.
What do you mean by they left?
Well, they were only temporary to begin with. Aeonir created them to tend to our world as long as mankind is corrupted. But now he wants to return to our world. The Guardians have gone back to their slumber.
Aeonir wants to return?
Yes, Aeonir will return to this world. 12 moons ago, the Harbinger of Light, our leader, had visions where the All-Father himself spoke to him. He said that after all the suffering we, his creation, had to endure, the time has come to bring peace again. He will reveal himself to us, and will make this world one of freedom, peace, and equality again.
And how exactly will he do this? It's not like there's no reason our world is the way it is.
It's a god we are talking about. Not a guardian, but a true god. The only god, the creator. You're making the mistake I made before the Harbinger showed me the truth too. You are trying to apply human thinking to something that never was human to begin with.
And why hasn't he returned yet?
Well, that's the reason we're here. Aeonir also told the Harbinger something else. That he will only return once mankind has become pure again.
Pure?
Yes. Free of the wrong faith. Free of defilers. That's our mission. And once we've succeeded, the Harbinger will open the gates so that Aeonir can step through.
That sounds like nonsense. Dangerous nonsense.
Well, I'm sad you see it that way. I think it's best that we end our conversation at this point. I hope you will see the light someday, soldier. I really do.
Okay. So either Aeonir has really talked to them, or that's just some random chaos god, evil thingy trying to get into the realm of the living. That would be a problematic endeavor to try to defeat that one. Even though he might not be a god or something, if he can, I don't know, corrupt an entire race. And is obviously barred from the realm of the living. I mean, there's got to be a reason why. So, bringing that thing back. And what always startles me a little bit about these fanatics, if it's really God, why do we need you? He doesn't need you, he's God. If he wants to come, he's just kaboom, and there he is. So, odd. Definitely odd. I mean, humans believe themselves to be so important. Humans are always like, oh, the Mighty One needs me. I need to shout. No, the Mighty One doesn't give a shit. You're just a small worm. You're a rounding error. You're nothing more. That the first thing of humans is always to believe that I, as an individual, am so important. No. To God, no. Your actions matter little. So, the end.
Of course.
If the first truth that people need to understand is
Yes.
you shouldn't be good because you believe that there is a higher one that cares. Be good because it is good. Be good because it is the right thing to do. You see, if religious people do good, that's worth little. Because they only do good because they fear punishment if they don't do good. An atheist, you are someone that doesn't believe in a higher power. If that one chooses to be and do good, that is worth a shitload. Sorry for my small rant. The Vigilant Guard. The statue is said to be blessed by Arion, the god of justice, watching over the Grey Keep prison. It does indeed possess a small magical signature.
So tell me, Tahar, is it just me, or is the general...
Now that came out of nowhere.
Wolfguard, he was so different, passionate about our cause. But now, I don't know.
Well, the war did take its toll on him, that's for sure. But I think that goes for all of us, doesn't it?
Probably. In war, ideals are a luxury, aren't they?
I guess.
A replica of Admiral Ilbertus de Basset's warship, the Juggernaut. It was key to victory in the Battle of Stone Bay, preventing Northander from being invaded by the Empyreans.
Understood.
Uh-huh. Imagine a Lord of the Rings game with this kind of detail. Imagine Minas Tirith being remade in... Oh my goodness, now I want them to buy the Lord of the Rings license. The problem just is it's ridiculously expensive. The Tolkien Foundation estate, whatever, is greedy as heck. I mean, they wanted from Amazon, what, 200 million just for the rights to make a television series? I mean, that's nuts. But...
Understood.
That's people. They always want money. Oh, no, not all people, but most. Whoa, just look at the amount of detail. High quality textures, I like it. I mean, that's not high quality, but it is. I guess it's prison, or what?
I'm ready.
Oh, the Queen's Chambers. Oh, that's not a... That's not the prison, that's the Queen's Chambers. I'm sorry.
Of course. Understood. Acknowledge.
Now would you look at that?
A shrine devoted to the guardian Tiara, goddess of sunlight, warmth, and inspiration. There are more offerings than usual. Okay. We're going to end this episode now.
Yes.
Just going to take a look if we forgot something here.
It's fireballs you're dodging.
Oh, beer. No, not beer, dear.
Interesting.
An unfinished statue of the guardian goddess Tiara. The statue of Roderick Aelith, Queen Aelith's uncle, former king of Northander. Damn. I mean, this is a keep. I mean, would you look at this? I mean, imagine we got something like this in Total War. Imagine Warhammer Total War with this city, this style. Multiple layered city with details, with cool walls, with gem details, windows, statues. Oh, it could be so easy, but then again, it is not.
Let's see.
The Iron Mask. How does it work? Oh dear, that won't be a nice story. Let's see. The Iron Mask. Of all the inventions of the modern age, perhaps none is as devastating as a nuclear warhead. Iron Mask. Used primarily by the purity of light, the solid Iron Mask is much more complex than its name implies. The mask serves the connection between the wearer and magic, effectively disabling a mage's talent. The purity has been known to use the Iron Mask on mages it manages to capture. The mask, at its core, is a means of torture. While known instances are still difficult to confirm, given the Guild's limited access to their purity's records, it is estimated that 1/3 of cases result in unintended brain rupture and instant death. This is perhaps the best outcome for a victim. For other victims, the cause of this reaction is unknown. One theory is the internal conflict between the mask's power and a mage's strong connection to magic, but overpowers the body. More studies... Sorry, I'm reading something on my phone. More studies and observation of the Iron Mask's abilities are needed to refine this theory. For other victims, the Iron Mask is a slow and unmerciful death. Unable to see or use their magic, a mage is all but guaranteed to lose their sanity over time. It can take weeks for a victim to waste away, as senses slowly dull, and the bone and the bodies and the body wanes from lack of use. The result is always death, often due to starvation, dehydration, or accidental injury from bouts of delusional exertion. Sarcosic, the Creator's Guild.